Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a great hump day. I'm actually recording this on Tuesday night. I don't think I'm going to have time tomorrow to record. So you'll be seeing this on hump day, but it's Tuesday night for me. I am very much about to go to bed, y'all. No makeup, in my night clothes. I just wanted to get this recorded so I can have this uploaded for you guys tomorrow. While you are here, go ahead and show your girl some love by liking the video and hit subscribe if you are feeling the vibe. If you're looking for remote work, I have that on my personal channel. I will link that in the comments below. Plus I have storytime vlogs, all of that wonderful stuff on my personal channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with today's topic. So y'all, I ran across lately quite a few TikTok stories about women regretting marriage. You know, it's the women regretting motherhood, regretting this, regretting that. It's a lot of complaining, okay? But I ran across a woman talking about how she regrets marriage, okay? And I said, you know what? This will be a good topic to speak about. So I came up with the whole mashup of women talking about why they regret marriage. Now, this is a good topic to talk about, y'all. We are going to have a very thorough discussion. You do not want to miss this commentary because we're going to talk a lot about this dynamic, what I feel like women are doing wrong when it comes to feeling this way, why they feel this way. And if you don't want to get caught feeling this way, like marrying the wrong man, we're going to speak about all of that. Okay, so without further ado, go ahead and watch it. If there was any, if you see any editing, it's because they were cursing, which I think is only one lady, which is the first lady, I think. There's editing because they were cursing, not because I want to, because it's YouTube's guidelines. Okay, at the end I will be back to give you my commentary.
I hate being married. I long for the day to be single again. The only thing that's causing me to stay and stick it out is because I've been a housewife for 10 years. And to get back out there in the workforce with a mental illness, there's some fears that I have. But I literally do hate being married. So y'all know how I say that I always use my content to push my pain into purpose, make y'all laugh. A lot of this pain is connected to my marriage. A lot of it. I just try my hardest not to put it out there, and I'm still not going to go into details. And no matter how much I try, no matter what I do, at the end of the day, I still just want out. I want to be single. I know I can love myself better alone than anybody can love me with them. I love who I am, but I do not love who I am with this person. I hate being married, and on my life, once this is over, I would never get married again.
At 23 years old, I took my Shahada and learned my religion from a man I ended up marrying. When I married the man, I married him based solely on faith of Allah to change the situation that he was already in and that we were already in together. I should have never married him to begin with. Throughout our marriage, every time I felt like I should have left, I held on because I felt like if I did leave, then I wasn't believing in God and trusting God to change the situation. But I will tell you this. 9 times out of 10, a situation is not going to change. And leaving a situation, leaving your marriage, does not make you less of a Muslim. I felt like I was going to be less of a Muslim, and I didn't believe in Allah, and I didn't trust in Allah enough if I left my marriage.
But it was the things that he said in the way that made me feel. That's the reason why I'm not with him today. And one of those things that he said to me was when we were already splitting up and I was moving out. And I was telling him, like, hey, we don't need to do a nasty divorce, but, like, you do need to, like, give me some money to go on about my way because I've been a stay-at-home mom for the past year and a half, and I don't have anything to show for that year where I could have been earning money. I was at home taking care of us. Like, you got to work because of my sacrifice, so I deserve something. And, like, nothing unreasonable, but just something so that I can breathe, so that I'm not, like, paycheck to paycheck, literally. And he told me, he said, And I also said that, yeah, I didn't work, but like I provided value because I gave birth to 2 children and I raised them, and I helped with family life. And his answer was, what you did, that's not how value works. What you did didn't have any value because there was a lot of women who wanted to give me kids. I could have had kids with anybody, but you can't just run out and go find a man to provide for you any day of the week. So me providing for you was more valuable than you giving me 2 children. And like, I just I just really want to spare like any young woman what you go through to bring these children to this planet is not worth what they're telling you is going to be your reward. I had to sit there and hear him say that to my face. When they say marriage is a humiliation ritual, this is what they mean. I've forgotten more that he said like that to me than I can remember.
Here are a few reasons why I probably will never get married again. Now, please don't come over here trying to tussle. If marriage is for you and it's working out and it's going good and that's what you still desire, I love that for you. I think a lot of people naturally have the whole white picket fence theory in their head of, I need to have a husband before I have a baby, I need to have a house, I need to have all of these things set in order for it to be raw and perfect, and this is my ideal life. And it sounds good, but then it's like when life starts lifing and doesn't go exactly how you pictured it, now you're disappointed. Now you can't think yourself out of a box because you only planned for that one reality. Overall, I think marriage can be a beautiful thing. The way my life worked out, I actually did it all before 30. I mean, I bought a house, had a baby, traveled the world, did all of this stuff with my partner who turned out to be a super narcissist and pathological liar, but that's another story for another day. In my vows, I lied. I told him that I loved him unconditionally, but I realized shortly after, when he started to break my heart, that I had conditions. You are not going to cheat on me. You will not put me in a position to have to question my self-worth and my value. You're not going to choose people that are not in our marriage over me. And the only one in our marriage is me and you. And the man above, but definitely not your mama. Which is why sometimes a lot of women stay. They don't want to be looked at as a statistic, or, they don't want to seem like they failed. And for some reason, I guess women think it's a flex to be married, I guess. I mean, maybe to y'all men, though. I don't know. Another reason why I probably will never get married again is the risk of it not working out. The stakes are 38,000 times higher and harder to leave when you have now gone through the courts. And you have to be real. I know everyone wants to believe in true love and it lasting and y'all being together forever, but you got to also look at the reality of the situations. If it doesn't work out, what if? Then it doesn't work out, you find yourself in an entire expensive custody battle. Take it from me. Now you find yourself fighting for full custody, having to put your spouse who you once loved with all your heart on child support. Now, against your will, you're thrown into the baby mama, baby daddy life that you always heard of. And it's way more ghetto than what you could have imagined. This may make y'all want to tussle a little bit, but hey, let's just go. Another reason why I probably will never get married is the fact that women are the ones that have to change every single piece of our identity to conform with a man. We take on his last name. We change our credit card last names. We change our IDs. We change every single passports. All of this stuff we change to accommodate and to be a part of a family with a man. To the point where when it's over, now you're still stuck with that man's last name. You change your entire identity for it not to work. I feel like I am perfectly fine being in a monogamous relationship without the legalities of it. Marriage is a contract. Hey, I'm going to take your last name. Hey, you're going to treat me this way. You're going to wear your ring. You're going to do this for me. You're going to provide for me. I am going to love and support you and things like that. And that is amazing until that contract is broken. I just don't believe that I need another $50,000 contract. Unless I'm in like the WNBA or something. As a woman, I feel like it was all risk and minimum reward. And I've come to these conclusions after I've done the work, after my failed marriage, after I've gone to therapy. So this is not one of those like, oh, she can't take accountability type of things at all. I just feel like overall you never really know a person before they've played certain roles.
Okay, so now that y'all seen that, let's have a conversation about that. And before I get started, I just want to say no hate or judgment towards anybody in this video. You feel how you feel, and that's that. Okay, we're simply just using these talking points and conversations to have a conversation to see what we can learn and grow from for women who are wanting to get married and women who, you know, still see marriage as a good thing, or some who might see it as a bad thing and maybe questioning whether they can see it as a good thing. That's what this conversation is for. Okay, and this is coming from somebody who felt like I married the wrong man. Those who follow me, y'all already know my story, like most of y'all anyway, and my story, my divorce story, is on this channel. You just have to scroll, or you can type in Zena Sessions divorce and it'll pop up for you. But basically, long story short, I was married, and that was kind of like my high school sweetheart in a way. I met him when I was like a sophomore, I want to say second semester sophomore, and I was with him for a long time, on and off, for like 12, 13 years. We had children in that marriage and everything, but it was a toxic marriage. Okay. And so many times after the marriage, I regret it. And I felt regret in my head of like, man, I shouldn't have married him. I shouldn't have this, da, da, da. Okay. But then I healed appropriately, worked on my spiritual health, worked on every aspect of me. And then once, I was healed, I attracted my husband now, who is an amazing person. Like, we don't argue, never been in an argument, nothing. Like, it's such a healthy relationship that I know I was literally blessed with from God. So this is coming from somebody who been there, done that. Okay, so let's get into it. So I want to start with the second story first, because the first story and third story had a couple things I wanted to talk about that were similar. So with the second story, I do want to talk about how people who are in religion, like her, she said Allah, so I'm assuming she's Muslim, but excuse me, people in religion, sometimes they stay in toxic relationships, marriages that they probably should be apart from because of religion. Now, I'm not a religious person. I'm more of a spiritual person. I used to be a religious person, and I used to be heavy in the church, so I do know what that is about. But I'm glad that she said, like, towards the end, like, you know, it doesn't make me less of a woman, because that's very true. People always talk about statistics, how it shows that, you know, oh, a two-parent household is a better outcome for the kids. And that is true. But what a lot of people don't say with that is that that is for a healthy household only. A healthy household. And don't get it confused thinking that that means unicorns, cotton candy, perfection. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying a healthy household is in both the husband and the mother is healthy. There's no substances involved. There's no abuse of any kind involved. There's no cheating of any kind involved. I'm talking about a healthy household. Okay. And the reason I put cheating in that category, because cheating can sometimes be in relation to abuse. If a person is a narcissist, they can cheat. If they cheat and the person finds out, then that can cause mental health illness to the other person. You know, if they get hurt and they never get over it, then it causes issues in the marriage. And a lot of times they don't let go of that, and then it becomes trust issues. So I'm saying healthy marriages. They don't have to be perfect. Even if y'all have problems in the relationship, y'all work them out in a healthy manner. You know what I mean? Y'all don't be petty and do little stuff like that. Like, no, y'all know how to work through those in a healthy manner. You can go to counseling or seek spiritual help, whatever. Okay. So again, doesn't mean it has to be perfect. It just means that y'all know how to handle it in a healthy manner. Okay. And if your children do witness it, it's probably little to none, and they don't see anything toxic. They don't hear anybody calling their partner out their name, cursing, all of that stuff. Okay. Because on the other side of that, what people don't tend to realize is that if you have an unhealthy marriage and situation, that actually causes the opposite effects to your children. It actually does. A perfect example of this is, I don't know if you guys know, seen Love is Blind with AD when she was going to get with Clay. And Clay said that he was very vocal in saying that he witnessed his father cheat on his mom repeatedly. Like, he was a serial cheater, and that messed him up mentally and emotionally. Still to this day, years later, okay, he got issues from that. So realize something. That's why I added cheating in there. Something even as cheating can cause issues to your children. Of course, without saying any type of abuse, I don't care what it is, any type of abuse can cause issues for your children. If they see one parent abusing another parent, they hear one parent abusing another parent, how do you think they are going to act and treat other people? Okay? Or how do you think that they're going to think that it's okay in their relationship? So if somebody abuses them, they might think it's okay, or they might think it's okay to abuse somebody else because they grew up around that. They might not know what healthy looks like because they're only used to chaotic. So again, those statistics are for healthy households. If it's not healthy, then you are really honestly better off not being together. It is better off. It's better. And I read this in some studies. They have studies on this. I cannot remember where I read this, y'all, but it said that children, when the household is unhealthy, children are better off seeing their parents single and happy versus together and unhappy. And it makes sense because I watched this whole topic on TikTok, multiple kids, I'm talking about multiple kids on TikTok speaking about this topic of how they wish their parents would have just divorced. How people be thinking that their kids can't see and witness and hear what's going on in the household, but they can. Okay, so I know that that's a little off topic. I went a little further there, but I just wanted to talk about that because that's really, really important. So don't force yourself to stay in something. I don't care if it's religion. I don't care, oh, well, we got kids together. If it's healthy, work it out. I'm always for families working it out if it's healthy and it can be worked out. But if it is toxic, then you're causing more damage a lot of times, okay? So that's that. When it comes to like the second story and the third story. Okay. So, the second story. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm tripping. The first one I just spoke about was the second story. When it comes to the first story and the third story. Okay. So, the first story, she's just going off yelling, talking about she's scared to get in the workforce because I think she said she has like a disability. And then like with the third story of her talking about like, she said that, I think she was trying to talk to her husband and to give her some money because she was a stay-at-home wife and had children and her value was in that. Da, da, da. So listen, ladies, I don't care if your man is a millionaire. Okay, I do not care how much money your man makes. Always have your own money. Point blank, period. That will solve a lot of these problems. Have your own money. Okay, now I know what some of y'all are thinking, like, oh, but if we have children, I want to be a stay-at-home wife. I want to take care of my children. Da da da. There are ways around that. Okay, I'm a perfect example of that. Ever since my child was, how old? I want to say, I can't remember the age, okay? But I've always worked from home. A lot of my children's life, I have worked from home, okay? And I feel like that has helped me tremendously when it comes to a lot of stuff because I still can do things that a stay-at-home mom can do versus not if I was to have to go out and go to work. Because what am I going to have to do? I'm going to have to find daycare a lot of times, and even if they're school age, I'm going to have to make sure that my shift ends on time to like pick them up from school or make sure I'm home when they get off the bus. You just have to make sure everything aligns with each other, which can be very hectic. But meanwhile, when I work from home, I'm still making steady income. Okay. So I have my own money. If something was to ever happen, then I still have money to be able to get my own place, still to pay bills, still to pay my car, still to, like help my kids out, whatever. Okay. And in the meanwhile, I still can do home things to where like my youngest, I watch her. She's only 2. So I still watch her from home while I work. Okay. I still get dinner ready. For certain meals, I go ahead and get that stuff ready when I can. I still will throw me a load of laundry in. It's really a blessing, to be honest with you, because I don't know how that would work if I did not work from home. So speaking of that, again, if you need remote work, make sure you follow my personal channel. I'll link that in the comments below, but I'm posting remote work regularly. Okay, this week I have been a little bit slacking, okay, because it's been a lot going on, but I post regularly on there and I still have a lot of remote jobs on that channel. Okay, so again, work from home. If you don't want to work a job from home, you also can do certain work, contract work, to where, you know, you can do that on your own time, on your own schedule. Opening up a business. A lot of people open up businesses even though they're stay-at-home moms. Why? Because they're making passive income while they are working from home. So for example, this is another supplement of income is YouTube for me. Like, I just do YouTube. I still make money monthly from YouTube, you know what I mean? But people do all kind of stuff, like all kinds of stuff. So you just have to find what you're good at and make money. Okay, always have your own money. Or another option is, if your husband gives you money, let's say they'd be like, oh, you know, I'm gonna give you some money to do this, blah, blah, blah. And he gives you money regularly, because I know some men, because their wife is not working, they will give them like money monthly. Make sure you are taking a good portion of that money and saving it, okay? Save it so you have a emergency stash if something was to happen, but always have your own money as a woman. I personally feel like you should. That's my opinion, okay? So you don't find yourself in these situations. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. On the third story, that woman's husband was very much trash. Very much trash. And I hate to say it, fellas, but this is the reason why alimony exists. He sit here and tell her, the woman who literally put her life on pause, to stay at home and raise his children so they don't have to be in daycare and all this kind of stuff, that there's no real value in that. And the real value is when is him paying bills, because he can have anybody he can find any woman to have his kids, but she couldn't find any man to provide for her. I'm sorry, but I disagree. I highly disagree, highly disagree, okay? Because first of all, she's an attractive woman. It's not like she's unattractive. It's not like she probably doesn't have a good head on her shoulders. Guess what? When she was in her prime, before she had your kids, 9 times out of 10, because she's good looking as well, she could find her a man that she could marry and have his kids, and he probably will provide for her as well. So I don't know where that's coming from, but that's not true. You can go out there, find you a woman. I don't know why a lot of men be thinking that. A lot of men be thinking, oh, well, I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. Da, 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 da. Like, if that woman is attractive, I promise you, there's going to be other men checking for her. Okay? So that is beyond me that he said that. Like, yeah, you can go out and you can find a woman to have your kids, and she can go find a man to provide for her. She definitely could have. But guess what she did? She got with you, okay, and she had your kids. And this is exactly why alimony exists. You know why? Because they get together. A woman and man will get together, okay? And a man, he might not have nothing. He might have little to nothing. He might be making, let's give a number of like 50K. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with 50K, but let's just, because that's around average, let's say 50K. Let's say he's making 50K when he meets her, okay? They have a 1-bedroom apartment, whatever. And, you know, she's single, obviously don't have no kids, whatever. They get together, then she gets married to him. She's working and everything. They both working. He says, hey, now that you're pregnant, I don't want you to work. I want you to be a stay-at-home wife. They agree that that's both something that's best, you know, for daycare fees, all of that. Cool. All right, cool. So she quits her job, okay? So that means that she now has no experience to put on her resume that she has been working this long and she don't have no degree, none of that kind of stuff, because she has been raising children, okay? But then you decide like, oh, you know, because a lot of men, they start getting more money as they get older. They grow in their careers. They just start, you know, growing into the person who they want to be financially. So now, obviously, she's different, okay? Because she's still not the youngest thing that she was before. She already has kids by you. You know what I mean? So it's like he's gaining more money and all this kind of stuff. Meanwhile, her looks might have changed. Her body, after you have kids, your body changes, okay? It changes a lot of the time. So it's like her body changed. She has kids now. Most men, a lot of men anyway, would consider that baggage, you know, whatever. So it's like she's not the same going out on the dating market as she was before she met you. So it's like, that's why alimony exists, because of things like that. If you are a man who said, because I hear a lot of men nowadays be like, oh, well, alimony exists and that shouldn't exist and da 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 da. Okay, if you are a man who said that she needs to be a stay-at-home wife, then alimony absolutely should exist, because she don't get to just go out there, and a lot of times it'd be 20 years these women didn't sit here and be a stay-at-home wives and all of that. 20 years, they have no education, no, I mean, well, as far as like a college degree, no work experience, nothing. They have to just go back out there in the working world competing with people who have degrees, experience, certification, all of that. That's not fair to her, because she put her life on hold to raise your children. You know what I mean? So that's why alimony exists, for stuff like that. So I will always disagree when men be like, oh, well, alimony exists. It depends. Every situation depends on the duration you've been with that person, how old you are. You know, I feel like it depends on certain situations, but this is exactly why it exists, because of men like him. That's not no value. It's not no value that she didn't had children for you. That's the highest honor a woman can give you. And it, whew, yeah. So I'm sorry, but that pissed me off. Women, always have your own money. Always have your own money, because men like him is given narcissist, it's given feminine, it's given narcissist, and it's also given like, I'm the prize, I'm the man, I'm the prize, da, 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 da. That's what it's given. And it's also giving like he wants her to not succeed. It's also given like, I'm the best thing that happened to you, you won't be nothing without me. But I guarantee you, the moment that she gets her life together, he gonna be her biggest hater. Because that's how men like that are. Like, that whole thing really disgusted me. Like, that is sick. Okay. And then with the last story, you know, I'm going to speak on this because just like her, I did it all before 30. Okay. Like, bought a house, got married, had kids, all that. I did all that before 30 as well. Okay. So I can understand, you know, when sometimes when we do things too fast or whatever. But her saying, I want to address some of the things she said. She says, you know, all risk and minimum reward. We have to change our last name, and when it don't work out, we stuck with that last name. You know, she says she lied in her vows. Women think it's a flex to be married. Risk of, you always have a risk of it not working out. I know everyone wants true love, but gotta look at reality of it not working out. All of those things kind of stuck out to me, okay? Because first of all, what went wrong, I feel like, in her situation is getting married too young. Okay, again, I can speak on this because I did all of that before I was 30 as well. Okay, and I feel like I got married too young. I've said this before on this channel that I feel like women should get married honestly when they're closer to 30, anytime from like maybe 29 and up, because your brain kind of like should be fully developed around that time, and then refining and tuning happens around that age as well. And then men, it typically happens around the age close to 40. Okay. So with that being said, I feel like she's just kind of taking out one situation, her outlook on one situation for every other situation. She did say good things of like, oh, you know, I do feel like marriage can be a beautiful thing, but I do still feel like she has some hurt from her past and some, you know, regrets obviously from her past that kind of has her whole outlook on marriage. I need a lot of people to understand this and realize this. What's the word I'm looking for? Okay, you are what you attract. Let's go with that. You are what you attract. Okay, so I guarantee you, if we did a deep dive into her situation, there was red flags before she even married him. But a lot of us are young, you know, we go off after lust and what we want and versus what we need, etc. Y'all know I talk about daddy issues. It could have been some daddy issues in there as well, but we go after what we lust versus after what we need a lot of times, especially when we're young. Okay, so I guarantee you, if we did a deep dive into her situation before she even got married, there's probably already red flags, because I think she said he was a narcissist. I think she said he was the narcissist, if that's the story I came across, because I watched a lot of these. And again, narcissists a lot of times don't just randomly become narcissists. A lot of times they still show signs. Okay, now I agree with her in saying that, oh, you know, people are show different sides when they become different in different titles. That's true, but generally a narcissist, they can't hide being a narcissist for too long. So if you're with somebody for years, a lot of times you already done picked up on some red flags that you just kind of brushed under the rug. And that's when us as women have to take accountability, okay? Because we can't always put all the blame on men. You have to take accountability in the fact of like, you know what? I seen some red flags that I should have not ignored. I seen some red flags, so I should not have had children with this person. I seen some red flags, so I should not have married this person. A lot of women will not admit that. They don't take accountability and admit when they should have not got with somebody, because a lot of times, like I said, those red flags usually be there. A lot of times those red flags be there before you got married, before you had kids with them, etc. And just like how the girl with the religion, the second story, was talking about, oh, I just was hoping and praying he would change. We got to stop hoping that people will change, because they show us who they are, and that's who they are. We have to accept that and move accordingly. Stop trying to think that things are going to change. A lot of times God this is what killed me with people. They don't go to God before they pick their partner, but then after the partner showing out, then they want to go to God. That don't work that way. It does not work that way. And I guarantee you, every single one of these stories that was shared, they did not go to God first. And again, no judgment, because that was me. But I guarantee you, none of them went to God first and said, God, can you bring me my husband? Instead, we go after what we want, okay? And then you pray after. When God was like, well, I never told you to get with him. You got with him, okay? Now I'm trying to show you need to get out of it because it's not healthy for you. We can't change people. People are who they are. If they're meant for you, it will align how it's supposed to. If it's not, then it will be turmoil. So I guarantee you, all of these people who complain or with people who they were not supposed to be with. They're with people who they want, but not people who were meant for them, okay? So, you know, so I feel like I said, with the last story, it's just given that she had a lot of hurt and pain from her past still. Like, not a whole lot. I'm not saying that that's like taking over her, but I feel like she still have some remorse for that person. Like, I don't know what happened in the relationship, but something that makes her be like, oh, I just don't never want to get married again because of this and da-da-da-da-da. And now we stuck with the last name. When you think negative too, the negative happens. So even if she was to date again or even wanted to get married again with that mindset, more than likely you're probably going to attract the same thing. Because if you think that like marriage is a bad thing, then I know she said it can be a good thing, but she's still speaking as if it's a bad thing overall. So it's like, if you're speaking that it's going to be that way, then 9 times out of 10 it's going to be that way, okay? Because that's your reality. That's what you're attracting, okay? And then saying things like, you know, risk of it not working out. I know everyone wants you love, but got to look at the reality of it not working out. Again, when you think negative, then negative happens. Okay. The only risk that I feel like you should be prepared for is money wise. Okay. And that's because, and that could be not even because he broke up with you. I'm talking about more so like he can get injured at any point in time if he's the breadwinner, and you need to be able to care for the household if that's the case. So money wise, of course, prepare for that. But anything else, you should not be thinking negative. You should not be going into marriage thinking that it's not going to work out. Or guess what? A lot of times it's not. You got to think positive and have God in your marriage. Go to God before you get married so they can give you the right person. It's a reason why people who are who have morals and values are like follow religious genuinely and wholeheartedly. A lot of times their marriages work out because both people have morals and values in something, okay? So there's a reason, okay? So I do want to talk about just some things for women who are thinking about marriage, some good things about marriage. So I looked up benefits because I know benefits, but I wanted to get more detailed. So let's talk about some benefits of marriage, okay? So what I looked up says emotional support and companionship, less loneliness and more happiness, okay? A lot of times, okay? Because I don't care what nobody says, a lot of people get lonely. So it's just nice to have that companionship, nice to know that somebody has your back, okay? It says financial and legal advantages, shared income, tax breaks, inheritance, insurance, facts. And men who are actually married, they know this. Well, men, I ain't gonna say that. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Men who are wealthy, a lot of men who are wealthy, they know this. And that's why they get tax breaks too. They know this. They know what it looks like to society. They know what benefits it gives them as well. So that's again, I'm just saying that because I know some men don't like getting married, but that is an advantage for a man as well. Tax breaks, and for you as well. You know, you want to open businesses and stuff like that. And I don't care what nobody says when it comes to, I don't care how much money you're making. Even if you're making, let's say, $200,000 a year, 2 incomes still is better than 1 income. Okay. So I don't care if he making like 70K, that's 270K in your household versus 200. So 2 incomes to me are always better than 1. Why? Because he can contribute towards something, you contribute towards something. That other money that you would have been paying by yourself can go towards something else like saving, investing, etc. So to me, 2 incomes are always going to be better than 1. Okay. It says better health and longevity. Emotional support encourages healthier habits. I agree with that as well. Parenting partnerships, shared responsibility in raising children. Absolutely. Absolutely. And there is nothing wrong if you do not want to get married. Nothing wrong with that. But I do feel like if you want children, marriage should be something that you should be doing. Children need to see that. Okay, because a lot of people don't think about their children's romantic life. Okay, if you're a single parent, a lot of times, especially if their other parent is not involved, like they're absent or whatever, your children is never seeing what it is like to be loved, what it is like to be cared for, what it is like to be provided for, etc. Especially the girls. Okay, they don't. How can they sit here and find and know what to look for in a husband if they don't see it in front of them? Okay, especially if their dad is not involved. It's the dad's job to show her what to look for in a husband. She should follow the characteristics of her dad, and vice versa for men when it comes to their mom. But regardless, they need to see love in front of them. They need to see what it's like to be truly loved. They need to see how to address arguments in a healthy manner. They need to see, what does my mom do to make my dad happy? What does my dad do to make my mom happy? This is why a lot of people are messed up romantically, because they don't see it healthy in front of them. So keep that in mind, that your children also need to see what healthy love is. If they don't see what it's like, they're going to just pick whatever they think is, which 9 times out of 10 is a toxic person. Okay. So when you have children involved, they need to see security, they need stability, they need help. And remember what I said, when it is a healthy household, statistically, they have better outcomes. Okay. So that is another benefit as well. And then personal growth and stability, encouragement, accountability, and resilience. Okay. So those are just some benefits of marriage. I also want to add on, as a woman, I also feel like marriage is something of protection. I feel like marriage is something, even, let's not even talk about just financially, but I mean, like, marriage is something to where you have to look at the value of what it is. Okay, it could be something very, very beautiful. It's something very, very spiritual. Okay, it's a union in front of God. You're saying vows in front of God. So if you have God involved, God is going to hold you guys accountable. Okay, again, though, you have to think positive to get positive. If you think negative, you're going to get negative. Okay, so it's very important that you have the mindset of it. If you think negative about marriage, then please don't try to get married to anybody else, because that will be your reality. That'll be your outcome. And remember, go to God first. Don't go to God after you chose a partner. Go to God before you choose a partner. Because which, in my opinion, women, I feel like you should let men choose you. Okay. But go to God first, and God can show you clearly who's for you and who's not for you. Don't choose Mr. Toxic Pookie on the corner and then get mad that he ain't the husband you want him to be. God, why ain't he this way? Can you have him go to church? Can you have him? That's not who he wanted for you. Okay. So this is how I feel about the topic. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I will see y'all on the next one.